So you're witnessing this, cameraman?
Yeah, we'll witness it. What now?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to. You can witness it on camera. There's a picture of the boat.
Yes.
So that's the boat you're buying.
Yes.
That's my signature.
Okay.
You do your signature, and then he witnesses underneath. And then we'll probably have to go and get it photocopied.
You sure you're happy with that, Dick?
That's fine.
Well, he's bought the boat.
Yeah.
He paid
Job
already.
done.
So the
Yours.
Yeah.
Paid. What have I done? Good stuff. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, thank you for looking after her.
Given the weather.
Good sail off, couldn't we? Yeah. Well, here we are in Keyhaven, beautiful little spot. Tide's right up, the marshes are flooded, and the boat Betty 2 is alongside the little wharf here, which of course dries out at high water. I've come to take delivery of this boat, Betty 2, and her owner, Ben Collins, who's owned her for 15 years, is going to help me sail up the Solent, show me the ropes, show me her quirks. In the beginning, first stage of her passage, get her back to the Thames Estuary and Leigh, where she was built in 1921, 30 years before I was built there. It's been a boat I've been chasing for a long time because she had a very good name as being a very fast boat and an easy boat to sail. She'll steer herself, well known for that, even though she's very old. Somebody had a vision when he designed this boat, and she is notable for her speed and ease of handling. She's a very simple boat apart from that. Centreboarder, so she dries out on the mud, which is what I want because I live overlooking the mud flats at Leigh across to the marsh, and I want a boat that I can walk out to, that I haven't got to drive to. I can just walk down the road from my house and step aboard, tide comes up, chuck the mooring off, and off we go.
So Ben, just a quick word here.
Yeah.
Last time we met, you told me this was your boat for life. So
Yeah.
what's changed your mind?
Well, as I said, you know, it's. I know that Dick wants it. I always knew that, and I thought, having gone down to Falmouth and really taken her to her extreme limits and brought her back in one piece, and because I want to move on and take on another boat, because there's a lot of work which I haven't got the time for, so I'm probably having to go back to plastic. I just thought, well, it's going to go back to Essex. It's going to go to good. It's really important to hand a boat on to good hands, you know, and somebody's going to look after her. And I had worried me that if I'm not careful, Dick will disappear, and then I'll have to hand it over to somebody who won't look after her. So I'm giving it over now to somebody who's going to really look after her and take her back to the waters she's from.
Double, isn't it? Yeah.
The engine will start without any preheating. Flag in?
Yeah. That's doubled there, Ben. Sail her to Portsmouth first of all, and get her sorted out there. What a few things I want to do: fuel and water aboard, and chart I want to buy, and get her ready because there's some bad weather coming in Sunday and Monday, and so we don't want to be going anywhere in that. and then we'll plan a voyage from Portsmouth onwards once we get hopefully some wind offshore and easing off in strength a bit, and we'll plan our passage planner up past the 3 sort of big turning points. One is Selsey Bill, one is Beachy Head, and the third one is Dungeness. And all of us feel that once you're around Dungeness you're back in the estuary pretty much, because it's not far from Dover from there, and then you run up the downs around the North Foreland and you're home.
So Dick, how was your first sail across then from Keyhaven?
It was actually everything I expected it was going to be, because this boat has got an incredibly special reputation for speed and ease of helm and balance, and quite honestly, I mean I knew all this. I'd heard about the reputation of the boat, and it was everything I expected, better, because she just is
very smooth in the water, isn't she?
Very smooth, and
the size of boat.
And she makes such good time. She does go very fast. She's a fast boat. And we were overtaking a lot of bigger boats out there and keeping up with bigger boats, and bigger boats were looking at us thinking, why is this happening? Why have I spent 150 grand on this boat and there's this old heap of junk going by?
Wait a minute.
Well, it is to them, but it never has been to me. Never will be.
Yeah, no, I know, we did well.
And it's been great having Ben, who's had the boat for 15 years and has taken her across to Brittany, which is a long way for a boat like this, and also down to Falmouth on his way to trying to get to the Scillies. Most people would have given up before they got to Poole, as indeed Martin McCrill did, but he battled on and got as far as Falmouth, and even then the weather defeated him. So he really has. He's done some serious sailing. He's a good sailor, been around a long time in boats, and has taken this boat to its real limits and returned. So that's great, and so that was good to have him here showing me, you know, how she works, what happens, where the ropes go, etc.
How are you going to get from Portsmouth through the Tidal gate to Dover? How are you going to plan that?
Well, the first thing to consider is Selsey Bill. It's quite lumpy off there. It's quite shallow. It's not a very pleasant place when the wind is over the tide, when the wind is going against the tide. So ideally we want the wind obviously behind us, because we'll be going that way. So in that case we want the flood running as well. That'll be both going the same way. The problem we've got with that is that it's ideally, when we're getting the right weather, which is looking good for Tuesday, it's northwest, which is perfect breeze. It means to get the fair tide through the Leigh Channel, they call it. We've got to be there, I believe, at about 3:45 in the morning. So that's 10 miles from the Horse Sand Fort to there, so we do about 5 knots, so call it, it'll take us a couple of hours, probably a bit more time we've got out of the harbour. So we've got to leave at about 2 in the morning. Obviously it's dark at 2 in the morning at this time of the year. It's a new boat, I haven't quite got used to it yet. So there's those things to consider. So do we say, let's go early morning, we've got 4 hours of darkness, we'll be at, so by the time we get to the Leigh Channel it'll still be dark, although it's well lit, and that's alright. But I've got a novice crew coming with me, and got to bear that in mind. Or should we leave it until the afternoon time? But then the trouble with that is we get there very late in the day, i.e. 3:45 in the afternoon. That's not much daylight left once we get through there to carry on to Brighton. Well, we could do that. We could say, well, never mind, we'll be through there in light, and we're maybe just going to Brighton, or if the conditions are good, we'll just keep going all night. Because our next headland to get round is Beachy Head, and if you can get round that at the right stage of the tide, you carry a fair tide all the way up channel. You can have 6 hours of flood, of the new flood coming up the channel this way, and then you get 4 hours of ebb, what amounts to the ebb, of the flood coming down the North Sea, which pushes into the channel, and then it retreats on the ebb. So you can take the channel flood up, get through the gate, the big tidal gate, and take of the ebb, or the first of the ebb I should say, of the North Sea flood back round the corner, and it gives you a brilliant lift, and it works quite well going this way. But you know, it's a bit unsettled. It's a lot of there's darkness to consider, a new boat, so there's lots of things to weigh up, and pretty much a decision will be made. I'll get all the prep done and we'll make a decision in the early hours of the morning. If it's howling, then we'll probably go in the afternoon and go from there.
You don't seem to have an iPad, but you've got a 1969 book. What is that book, Dick?
Well, it's quite. I like this little book. What it tells you explains the tidal gate. You know how this flood, how the tide, because Great Britain's an island. Okay, you've got the two flood tides. You've got the flood tide coming up the channel, and you've got the flood tide coming down the North Sea. Okay, and they meet around about the Dover Strait, and there's what they call the gate moves up and down. The gate between the two tides, the one going west and the one going east, and that meeting of those tides changes depending on the height of the range of the tide, the weather conditions, and all the rest of it. It's moving about all the time. But essentially, if you can pick up the flood, if you're going east and you pick up the channel flood, you can carry it for 6 hours tide. You get anywhere pretty much 6 hours ebb, 6 hours flood. But in this case, because it's an island, you've got two tidal movements. You can carry one load of flood. All right, and when that's dead, you pick up the ebb of the other flood coming the other way. And so as the ebb as the one you've been riding starts going back the way you've come, you sit on the train of the other one as it sucks off, goes back the other way you came, and it sort of sucks you off round the corner. It's brilliant, and I like it. I mean, the iPad, of course, it's all on there. You can touch it and press it, and it tells you exactly what it's doing at every time. But you have to understand a bit more about computers. I like this. There it is. You know, analog. That's what you call it. There it is. Look, page 1. 6 hours after high water Dover. 5 hours before high water Dover. Little arrows. There's all the headlands we're going to go around. There's the next one. There's the next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next. All fair tide, right? Look, there it suddenly starts turning against us. But at that stage, if you've crossed that line, you get that tide going that way. You're with those arrows now, and there's a very good chance you will. You will with 6 hours. You should do that, all right. Jump into the next slot, which is brilliant. Doesn't work going the other way, but not bothered about that. Not coming back here anyway.
What, never?
No, you never say never. You're mad. Oh, no, fuck that. Friday. Fridays. Saturday. Saturday's gone variable. Sunday. Saturday, Sunday. All over the fucking place, but it's light. At least it's light. Monday, then it's back to northwest. Monday. Yeah, well, I think that's all that. I don't want to be out. I don't even want to think about it until that's out of the way. So I think what we'll do is, today is what, Bob? Monday, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Might actually come back on Friday and aim to go on Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow and Wednesday is not bad, I must admit. You could still do that, I suppose. But then it's freshen up, and Thursday it's blowing like buggery again. Although that is early hours of the morning, so he's right. Glum is right. Originally he said if we got in somewhere Wednesday night, had Wednesday night in, and then carried on. But it's still really fresh all day Thursday, and into Friday. And I think we'll just come back when it's nice light airs. See, then it's Saturday. Let's go west. See, I think Sunday, Monday. Yeah, I think. Well, I think I'm not going. I'm going to come back on at the weekend and think about it then. We've got the tail end of Hurricane Maria coming in. And this boat is an unknown quantity.
So you don't
And
want
it's
to say
leaking, got leaking garboards. And the chap that sold it to me wanted to have the end of the season. Well, he got that all right, but the season's now over.
so what are you going
He's
to
left
do
me with
this pile of shit?
with the unenviable task of getting the damn thing around the corner in not very nice weather. So no, that's it, decision made. I'm not going. I'm coming back and then look at it at the weekend.
So you're contacting your crew, Dick?
Yeah, contacting the crew. Hello, sir. How are you? Good. Okay, Glum, I'm calling it off. I've seen down here. The sky is riven with the most horrendous mare's tail, so it's obviously coming in tonight. But it's not so bad that, of course, because we knew that. But it's then still very fresh early tomorrow, and we don't really want to be going through the Loo Channel with an unknown boat in the dark, etc., etc. And then it gets really nasty again, as you say, Wednesday night, Thursday. So we'd only be popping in and out. So what I'm going to do, I'll have a chat with them here, and I mean, I don't know if you can do it. If you still can, brilliant. If you can't, don't worry, I'll find somebody. But what I'm going to do is go and come home, I think, Glum, and I come back on Sunday and aim to go on Monday when it is nice light. It's nice light airs. It's looking like light airs, and we can, you know, still in the right direction. Seems to have settled down. XC weather doesn't go beyond Monday, unfortunately, but it's this tail of Hurricane Maria. It's going to be 6 hours solid rain, they're telling me, tomorrow night, which isn't much fun as well. So I think I have to make a decision one way or the other, and I think that's what I'll do. The other good thing is we'd have had to got up at 1:30 tomorrow morning to get out there in time and all be in the dark, and the lights on this bloody boat, the way he's got it rigged out, are a bit of a, you'll see. It's like a bracelet of, you have to get the sail up, then you have to sort of use bungee cord to clip the lights on round the mast, and then it's just plugged into a battery. It's a bit of a mess. So all that, weighing all that lot up, and they're quite fussy here if you go out of the harbour without lights on. It's a bit of a lash up, to say the least. I said, where's your stern light? He said, oh, that's that riding light I told you about. I said, oh, okay. Anyway, so it's all a bit of a funny old thing, but